Hi Scorpio, welcome to Barefoot Mama Intuitive Reading. This is your reading for the weekend, I suppose, of March 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Holy moly, here we are. If you want to enter to win a free reading this month, 3/23/24, go ahead and put free reading in the comments. I'll announce that host on the 23rd of March. Otherwise, I have a Patreon membership and a YouTube membership for extended versions. I don't post a lot of those, but I do hope to be doing so in the future. Anything else? I don't think so. Cash App, super thanks, donation options are available. And I thank you to all of those who are here, who have subscribed, and who watch my channel. I really appreciate it. I love being here reading for you. So let's go. Today I felt drawn to use this Dreams of Gaia tarot deck for an oracle pull for you. Sorry, let me get the book out. These cards are interesting. Like, there's card number 22, which means intuition. Of course, the thing is stuck now. Okay, here we go. Card number 22 is like intuition. So there's like numbers on all the cards instead of pages or knights, or they have queens and kings, but it's just a little bit of a different setup. I really like the artwork on it though, and I think it's a little bit more natural feeling. So just gonna read from this one. We'll just pull your overall energy, Scorpio, and then see how the reading unfolds. I'm not exactly sure what this reading is for you today. I have a feeling it's like about moving forward. I think March is going to be really good for you. I found another 4-leaf clover the other day. And so some energy about like rainbows, like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then these cards have like gold leaf on the side, so you might be experiencing something related to wealth or abundance, whether literal or metaphorical. Will welcome abundance in any case, right? This is the 5 of air, very much like the 5 of swords. She's taking off a mask, but she's blindfolded, and she's got all these pink healing dragonflies around her. I think we'll pull a couple of these. 3 of Cups reversed. So she's kind of going with the flow, this lady. Sorry, it's upside down. And she's got these fish around her, and she's like ribbon dancing, but that's reversed. So you might have been at least, or you might be in the energy this month of like, this person's putting on a face and like crying, right? Like they're sad. And you might just be putting on a brave face right now, and also kind of hermiting yourself away, or that's what you've been doing because you've been healing, right? You've been through some stuff. You coming out in your own energy, death, rebirth. This one's really cool. It's got the 3 skulls. I always see them as like, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And then you've got the cosmic snake with this little baby inside the cosmic egg. And a little frog here, which indicates transmutation of energies, but also you've been going through a spiritual awakening, or at least the Scorpios I read for have been. So this can indicate like moving through layers of consciousness or ascending. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with that word. 5 of Wands. Yeah, you've definitely fought your way through the stuff for this, and the Scribe reversed, and you've held your tongue. You may have wanted to busy yourself by like talking about what you've been through, writing things down. You've got the ibis and the bee, and then like the language of light is like pouring out of this guy's face. You've got all these like cosmic sort of symbols underneath there. There's the Dharma wheel, the pentagram. I don't know if you can see it. And then the ibises, which were sacred in Egypt and are reminiscent of Thoth, the sacred scribe. So the sage, I was going to say, what's the outcome of this? The sage, yeah. You're gaining wisdom beyond like normal human means. It's interesting because this is card 7, right? This is like Merlin, this guy. And then this is card 8. Death and Rebirth in this deck is card 8. This deck is weird too because it's very non-traditional with the numbers, like I said. Like there's a number 22 and death is like 8 instead of 13. Maybe 8th house is what that's about. It's a really cool deck. I'm going to read the Sage and then Death and Rebirth. I think the others are pretty self-explanatory. I guess Death, Rebirth comes first. Endings, beginnings, cycles, transformation. We know about that. This is in your future energy. What's coming in for you, Scorpio? The future can be terrifying for someone who has faced a sudden loss or change in their life. Changes of an extreme and final nature can destroy future goals, hopes, and plans in an instant. All at once, everything you dreamed of accomplishing suddenly seems impossible, and sometimes a sudden loss or change in the present brings with it the realization that your goals are no longer realistic. A loss in the present can destroy your future. Everything you have and everything you have strived for is no longer. When the Death Rebirth card appears in the future position, it is asking you to stop and breathe. Now is not the time to worry about the long-term future. You need to focus on a future that is more immediate, the coming days and weeks ahead. Do not follow your fear of a now-changed future to trick you into believing that your goals are unattainable. They could still be realized, but you might have to change your plans. You might rethink, you might have to wait a little longer. Give yourself time to adjust to the changes around you before you make any long-term decisions. Do not panic. Focus for now on the short-term future. The rest will become clearer once your emotional and mental state has settled, and it will not settle if you are worrying about a possible future that you might not even want when you have stopped grieving and have been reborn. Definitely something here about the grief process, Scorpio. You may be grieving an old life. Trigger warning, you might be grieving the loss of like a pregnancy. My heart sort of dropped in, like jumped into my throat as I said that. My heart goes out to you if that is the case. I don't know what to say about that. And you may just be feeling like you've been ready to start something new for a long time and you're not like really in the new yet. So let's see what this Sage has to say for you. Knowing my Scorpios, though, you know, Death and Rebirth is your mastery. It's your self-mastery. This is why you have the Sage here. It's something you're familiar with. It doesn't make it any easier, but the present. When the Sage appears in the present position, it represents sage advice, both given and received, and the importance of knowing when to offer it and knowing when to heed it. We all embrace tradition in our lives. Our habits can and often do take on the form of traditional behavior. Tradition gives us constancy and foundation, but it can also build walls that we lock ourselves behind. Have you ever found yourself doing something, eating a particular food, using a particular turn of phrase or mannerism, or repeating a pattern of behavior because you've always done it, and you do it because it was something that your parents do, and they in turn do it because their parents did it? There are traditions that are so ingrained that we are not aware of them on a conscious level. There are times when these traditions can be of benefit as they serve to unite and bring families closer. They're a reflection of who we are, our upbringing, and our likes and dislikes. Oh, I probably won't read this whole thing, Scorpio. I've got a pretty good idea of what this is about. The Sage asks you to at least be open to the advice and consider whether the person offering it might be correct. If the advice is offered by someone who loves you, why would their motives be suspect? Allow their words to be the catalyst that makes you wiser and more self-aware and inspires a change that benefits you. Try not to let anger or hurt close your mind and heart. It is wise advice that is offered. However, as always, it is your choice whether you heed it or not. The Sage in the present asks that you, at the very least, be open to the awareness that you may be embracing traditional and cultural beliefs and behavior passed down from one generation to the next that do not serve you well in the present. I also want to read it in the future position because I feel like this is more in the future the way I pulled it. You might be getting advice right now that's helping you to sort of transmute your death rebirth energies from growth. The future position of the sage asks you to recognize that in the future we will be the ancestors and predecessors of many other generations. And to recognize the impact that your actions in the present moment have on those generations. The sages of every generation speak of humanity's history and how it shapes our present and future. In the future, will they continue to rejoice in our ability to learn and evolve and adapt, or will they be too busy rebelling against the limits and restrictions we've imposed upon ourselves in the present in order to create a normal, compliant constancy where chaos is no longer the natural state? Will the future be a place where everyone is the same, and those who are not are made the same by pharmacological means? A place where thought and knowledge and the information shared are controlled even more so than they are now? When the sage appears in the future position, he represents the importance of learning and cherishing the knowledge of your family line and the history of your people. If you do not understand, ask. If you do not know, learn. If you do know, share. Celebrate the role of the sage and offer your knowledge. Tell your stories for no other reason except that knowing where we come from and what we have endured improves us and enables us to live a mindful, aware life that creates a better future for all. He also represents living in a manner that you know will make your grandchildren and their grandchildren look back with pride. I like that, Scorpio. I like those cards to help us open. I think that you know that the scribe reversed, maybe that you haven't told your story yet. You may need a means to do that, whether that be to a therapist, on a podcast, through writing. This is the scribe reversed. Journaling even, just something personal maybe nobody will ever see, or maybe just your kids will see when you've passed. Excuse me. But something to channel your grief, and something to allow you to feel comfortable in sharing company of others and celebrating in the company of others, as well as something that allows you to channel what is apparently like rage and competitive willpower, like energy, third chakra energy. I had this dream that's related to this reading the other day. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to sneeze. Hold on. Thank you. Excuse me. So I had this dream the other day, and I did mention it in another reading, but there was a moment where, like, I was me but not me, and I was chasing my son downriver, and he was him but not him on this raft, and I was running from my native ancestors, like the Cherokee, in the river, and then all the other, like, tribes were coming up the river the opposite direction, and my son's raft was, like, going back and forth like this, and I was like, doesn't anybody see that he's gonna fall over? But they were off to war, and war was, like, more important. And I, like, climbed up out of the river up this steep cliff, and there was this bridge, kind of like something you would see in Europe, like big old stone bridge. And I took this, like, mason's, I don't know if it's not a chisel, it's like a scalp, I don't know how to, it's like a pie-shaped thing that masons use to spread mortar on bricks. And I stabbed myself in the third chakra with it, and all this black goo came out. And I, like, crossed the bridge, and all this black goo was coming out. And it, interpretation-wise, it seemed to me like an old, like, ancestral memory of, like, tribalism, and how tribalism, you know, we engage in tribalism to protect the legacy we want to leave for our sons, for our daughters, for the people that come after us. But when tribalism tears apart that legacy on, like, a larger generational scale, or like a larger geographical scale even, it loses its purpose. It's almost like when you zoom in too far into something, or you nitpick something too closely, you lose sight of the bigger picture, and the meaning of the thing becomes lost. And I always think of Rene Descartes with this, because he, yes, founded like the principles of science, but those principles of science sort of took us away from the body intuition, or the intuitive knowledge of like what it is that we know just by existing. Like he famously began to question that through vivisection, like the art of vivisection. Like, oh, okay, the animal's just a machine, it doesn't feel pain, we can dissect something while it's alive, essentially, to see what happens and with it. And it's like you zoom in so far into something, or you focus so minutely on something, that it like destroys it. And that's what I'm feeling about this energy here, like this legacy. Like you're exercising some sort of goo, some black goo, some demonic force, or some family curse, or some sort of like myopia that has allowed people to lose sight of what's important for the generations that are to follow us, which is a really cool message. Also, you've had a lot about body intuition coming up recently, and about a spiritual rebirth that allows you to basically like leave everything you've taken for granted behind by being in the moment, which is what this death rebirth card says. But being in the moment in such a way that you're keenly and minutely aware of like your intuitive impulses, which are sort of how our ancestors connected to their land and their ways. And it might be something you've sort of forgotten, or I think it's something that a lot of people in our current world have forgotten. We kind of go and distract, you know? So I want to use the light seers to clarify this, but it looks like what's coming up in the future for you is like you're giving and getting sage advice. I think you're recognizing your role as some sort of sage, perhaps, and also understanding the humility that's required as a sage to be able to take the advice of those around you, to basically approach everything with this, it's almost like you're confident in yourself and your knowledge and your awareness, but you always are open to the room for possibility of being wrong, because you know there's always more to learn. And one little thing can like change the entire future, just like this death rebirth card said. So you may think you've got something figured out too. What's coming through also is the wolf, which indicates your masculine, logical thinking mind and having tamed it to serve you, as well as the owl, wisdom, feminine, intuitive mind, and taming it to serve you. You're also holding aloft the fire of your spirit here with this staff. The staff indicates magic and the ability to manifest using the combination of these forces, your logical, rational mind and your intuitive feminine in tandem. The Queen of Wands, beautiful. So the Queen of Wands here is very much confirming the message about like living in the moment, living in the present, to minutia. She is like, I always think of the Queen of Wands as somebody who like always has her nails painted, because she takes the time to notice like, oh, I've got a hangnail, I'm going to paint my nails today, or I'm going to get my nails done today. She's always got her hair done. She's always got, and I'm not saying that this is how you need to appear in the world. It's like she does this because it makes her feel good. These little beautiful things in her world are a reflection of her inner desires, and they're extensions of her manifestations, which is why she's the Queen of Wands and not like the Queen of Swords, for instance. The black cat also indicates having one foot in and one foot out of this world and the other, like the other world. So you're comfortable in having one foot in and one foot out. And this might be something people around you don't necessarily feel comfortable with, either about you and or about the possibility of that existing, or even about like themselves. But you're fully embracing this. You've got this little spark. She's got a spark. Your sage has a spark. This is a really cool start to this reading. It's not where I thought it was going to go. Death. To clarify, death. Okay, you showing up heavy, powerful in your energy, Scorpio. March is a big month for you, especially as it goes with your spiritual stuff. And this can be anything. The spirit can be creative. It can be, let's clarify. How is this going to be expressed for you? Four of Pentacles, in your security and your legacy. This card, this rune on her earring literally means legacy. Sorry, I'm trying to show it to you. Okay, you can kind of see it. It literally means legacy. So you might be like actually kind of giving up some material like things. You might be giving up some sort of materialism. You might be giving up a way of life, and you're holding stable in your foundations, but you're giving something up in order to leave a legacy that like means something more foundationally profound to you, I'm hearing. And it's not about this Queen of Wands, right? She's not necessarily, again, about materialism just because she's looking good and smelling good and feeling good. She's about being in her body's intuition, like marrying the intuitive mind with the reflection of your spirit, like how it is you want to appear in the world. I always kind of like think of her as beautifying the avatar, you know, thinking of yourself as an extension of the divine, knowing you're working with the divine. So this is something about maybe you're helping to reframe people's ideas of what is beneath the surface of these sort of like, I don't think shallow is necessarily the right word. I don't like to place judgment on people's lifestyles, but like that's the only word that's sort of coming to mind at the moment. Like shallower extensions, I would say further extensions of like our psychic desires. You know, I think kind of the whole foundation of capitalism, right, is that if you need something outside of yourself, or if something outside of yourself can like add to your existence, then that creates demand, right? And demand creates like this flow, this economic flow. And I think if you're coming from it from that point of view, then it can be very toxic, right? Marx said that the problem with capitalism was like eventually the human being becomes the product, because there's no way to inflate the value of commodities endlessly. Essentially, like, I don't know, I guess he was placing the value of the human being there. So this is basically for people who have like inflated the value of material things to replace the human being. Like if you've ever met somebody who's really poor or really broke, or really just not, they're just down on their luck, and cast judgment on them as somebody who probably just made poor choices because there's so much opportunity in this world, then that is a misplaced judgment. There are plenty of people who choose lifestyles that don't involve engaging in like wanton consumerism, and they are heavily looked down upon, especially in a culture, by some people, especially in a culture where like the name brand of the thing that you're wearing reflects your wealth, your importance, your worth. This is like a reframing of worth in that realm, to recognize the sovereignty of the human being, and to recognize that while materialism in itself is not outright wrong or bad, materialism replacing the sovereignty of the human being is. It's toxic anyways. Okay, death, rebirth. Wow. Okay, this is a heavy month maybe in like a good way. Death, rebirth for Scorpios. The Fool. That's awesome. You've got a brand new beginning, and you are taking this leap of faith, arms wide open. I'm seeing this yellow dress and thinking about that like third chakra image of like getting all that black goo out. She's got this purple amethyst here. And so this yellow dress can indicate like a clearing out of the third chakra. The purple amethyst can talk about receiving vision from spirit. And then she's got her staff as well. She's ready to take the journey again on the wheel. You've ended out a major journey, and anybody who's been following this channel for a little while probably saw that occur in the cards. I give a lot of readings, like 4 or 5 a week most of the time, and you can kind of see the progression of that ego death or that karmic like ending in the wheel over the last few months. And like there was like a moment, a culmination in the last few weeks where it was like just over. And then yeah, the last week or two it's been like, okay, here's this new thing. What is it? It's like this little egg, this cosmic egg, and it's like, what is it? This is new, like and you're just ready to go on this wheel again. Okay, what does this look like in the future for Scorpios? Ooh, the moon. You're not supposed to know, Scorpio. The universe has a surprise for you. I'm hearing your birthday might be the 13th, the 18th, the 4th. You might be seeing 444. You might be seeing consecutive numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, or like weird. I'm hearing pi. Pi Day might be important. That's March, huh? Yeah, Pi Day. Or you might be a mathematician or something. The number pi might be important for you. The moon. The High Priestess. Are you kidding me? Okay, your intuition is like howling. There's this wolf back here, right? You've got these wolves here, and the High Priestess, intuition with the moon. There's an eclipse at the end of March. This might be speaking to that, but I'm seeing Cancer season, Pisces and Cancer season. Pisces here, Cancer here. I read the moon as Cancer. It is a Pisces card, I believe. So something heavy about Pisces season for you. What's coming in? Like intuitively you know this. Oh, Knight of Cups, a love offer. That's so sweet. This could totally be you, just like, oh, wow, that's cool. He's got wings on his shoes, like Hermes. Okay, you could totally be, if you're a writer or like a musician or somebody who's tried to channel messages and you haven't been able to get them out, right? We had the scribe reversed. This could literally be Hermes, like, or Thoth, coming to you to give you messages to channel. So be open to that, because you've got the High Priestess here, right? That's my second instinct. My first, of course, is this is the Knight of Cups. So this could just be a love offer from somebody that you intuitively know is coming, even if you're not even if there's not like anything around you that really says so, your intuition might just be like, wow, like screaming at you. I really like that his shoes have wings on them, like Hermes. I don't know if any of you have seen that Percy Jackson and the Olympians show, but my son likes it, and I like he's got wing shoes just like those. Hermes. The Seven of Pentacles. Okay, yeah, you're reaping the rewards of what you've sown here, and you're nurturing it. And the Ten of Pentacles. Oh my god, I have the most beautiful softening in my heart right now, Scorpio. Like, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful reading. I'm a little bit like, whatever's happened for you in the last couple of days since I've read for you last, I feel like you've gotten a major release. Like you've released a lot of anxiety. Going back to that message about if you've lost a child, this Knight of Cups could be the person that you're with doing something nice for you. Maybe asking if you want to try again. With the Ten of Pentacles here, I'm seeing that this is available to you as a future. Most especially if you nurture yourself and your gifts. But yeah, the Seven and the Ten of Pentacles are here, so intuitively you'll know what's right for you, of course. This might be also like a spirit baby. Whoa, or even a spirit lover. Okay. That's interesting. I don't feel like it's a spirit lover. That's like for one person. Seven of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. What's the heart of this energy, please? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. The Ace of Swords, the truth shining through. Archangel Michael protecting this reading. Also, the Ace of Swords indicates to me a writer, somebody who writes. You might have something to write. Like the sword is a pen, and it speaks for the scribes. So writing might be really important to you. Also, here's math again. Sacred numbers might be important to you. Sorry, right here. We have the Sephiroth here, and the Sephiroth here as well. So journaling or channeling might help you to kind of like, you know how Einstein got downloads in his sleep and took naps and like woke up and would do his, like, you might be a mathematician who solves some crazy problem. I don't know, like there's something in physics like that's irreconcilable with quantum physics, I think. Between the physical and the quantum, there's something that's irreconcilable, especially mathematically. You might be working on something like that, or learning about something like that, that just, I think, teaches you perhaps about the power of intention. We learned about that recently, about the power of intention versus like entropy, and how chaos is just ever sort of unfolding until intention is placed on it. And there's the whole idea that like quantum particles are affected by the mere fact of observation, right? So there's something here mathematically perhaps about the measurement of observation and the amount of intention that goes into like, or focus that goes into like the conjuring of an idea or an intention. Yeah, you might be going down some kind of like mental rabbit hole that brings you to something fruitful. And your Ten of Pentacles. Anything, I want to pull one more row, I think. Total outcome. Okay. Three of Pentacles, self-mastery, mastery of your craft. mastery of your craft in such a way that your community appreciates it. It's good for your community. You have something to offer your community. The Ace of Wands. Yeah, your third chakra, your third eye chakra, rather, your sixth chakra is fully open. You're able to proceed with your ideas. If you've experienced any blockages before, this new energy is allowing you to open your third eye and create your creations in the world. Strength, Leo, Leo energy. As your outcome. I don't know what else to say about this reading, Scorpio. It's really beautiful, and I think it's fairly self-explanatory, if we, even though we did dive into some complex material. I think I will offer an extended just to take a deeper dive, maybe ground some of these ideas, especially if you're working with like love, or if you're working on like the spiritual sort of like stage, like if you're starting a spiritual business or something, as well as like this moon high priestess energy and how this relates to the pentacles, because you're grounding some really intuitive esoteric stuff there. So I will go to the extended. If you want to meet me over there in Patreon, you can get like 1 week free or something. In YouTube, you can join the membership. I think it's a bit cheaper than the Patreon one, but otherwise they're really both like really reasonably priced in any case. Otherwise, I'll see you all soon, probably tomorrow. Okay, thanks, bye.